Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the NBL News Podcast. Here with Jackson and AiDan. Once again, AiDan's joining me on the right this time. How you going, AiDan?
Good. I think we finally solved our audio issues, so hopefully...
Yeah.
Oh my God.
For those listeners out there, there has been some audio issues, episode 1, episode 3, due to the studio. It's been working on some devices, and then some devices it doesn't work on. Hopefully this is figured out.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed that it's all figured out now. We've heard your cries.
You haven't been unnoticed because this has been an internal conversation as well between us three. So
yeah, for a long time it's been quite frustrating, but we hope, fingers crossed, touch wood, that it's all solved and we're back.
Welcome back to Pat as well, who's producing.
And
yes.
back at the back as well for helping us out today. Tremendous help. Now, likes and dislikes of round 3. We're already up to round 4. Gee whiz. Any comments before we get into likes and dislikes?
There could
Anything you want to mention?
There could have been a lot of dislikes this week, that's all I'm going to say.
yeah, I mean this round there were so many games that were just blowouts, and it was over before half time.
Yeah.
So and then there's some results which are a bit misleading with the margins. So yeah.
Do you want mine first? My first like?
Go ahead.
My like is, I don't know if one of you have copied, but Taron Armstrong. I really like what he's done. Is this in there?
Yeah, similar, but it's not that man.
He looks like he can play. He can run an NBA offense. Like he is so elite. I was a bit skeptical if a team could win games with him at starting point guard in the NBL, and 3-game win streak now. It is early, obviously, but the way he's been able to put a bit of strength on. He loves the little hook when he dribbles the ball. If you watch him, he hooks the defender. He got a defensive foul there once, but the way he just creates offense and shot creates on the floor for Cairns, even for his own shot. He's a great scorer as well. Made a few threes. He had 20 points against Tasmania in their win at home, and then against Melbourne as well, he had 14, 6 and 4. Like, he's just such a great offensive player. Still need to work on the defensive end. Bit far behind in that category, but he's just tremendous, and I think he's a guy that's more than capable of having a long NBA career. And dare I say, he's similar to Giddy, the way he plays. Not saying he's at his level yet, or he will get there, but I think some of the offensive tools he has is, and the height, the body, it reminds you a lot of how Giddy plays. And look, if there are 2 future point guards for the Boomers in the coming years, we're spoiled. We're absolutely spoiled. They are tremendous guys, and let's hope Cairns keep this streak going, because I like Taron Armstrong, and hopefully he stays healthy. But he's just been so aggressive, so good on the offensive end in so many ways. And
you can see what interesting about with Rob Edwards. Like, Rob was more free, shoot the ball.
Yeah,
against
100%.
Against Tassie, and just he knew how to find the right guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by his shooting.
Yeah.
Just because last season that shot really wasn't there, and he spent a whole lot of time this off season getting that to go. So I think he hit 3, maybe 4 threes against United. He hit at least 3 in the first half.
Yeah.
So massive game.
I think it was 3 of 3 in the first half.
Yeah, he had 9 points at the half.
Yeah. He was good. Anyone else for a like?
I'll go like mine was Karen Galloway.
Yeah.
Scored 14 points against Tassie, like off the bench.
Yep.
Played his role. 2 out of 2 from frees. We know he's capable of scoring if he gets given out, the scoring.
Yep.
If he gets the time. And then against United, when Town Groves was out, he scored 16 points, 4 from 6 from free. Like, that's what he does. Karen Galloway loves playing in Melbourne for some unknown reason, but he loves playing in the city of Melbourne, and he just shoots lights out. And I think he'll be a great role player for that team. He's just one of the guys that know his role, and he can just shoot the ball, and he can also rebound, and he's got good size. He's kind of like a taller Mitch Creek in a sense. Like, he can move to the ring a bit, okay, but yeah, I love, and this is why I like to sign him.
Yeah, he's a good offensive
signing.
Yeah.
Karen is just, he can play 5, 4, even tall 3 if he needed to.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, very versatile.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Forty does that. He's the type of guy to play a guy like Karen Galloway at the 3. And he stepped up in Taron Groves out. And he's looked better than Taron Groves anyway.
Yeah.
So hopefully they maybe keep starting him at the 4 this season next to Warrenburg, because those two work together really well. So hopefully that keeps going. But I agree, he's been tremendous. And you got any thoughts on Galloway?
Yeah, I mean, increased role, obviously, with Groves out. You know, he had that opportunity, but he was such a great player in Adelaide last year, and he's always been such a great player, but he lacked that real opportunity to get those
100%.
minutes. So he had a massive game against Melbourne in particular. I really found my like is another one of Adam Ford's men. But
So last week we all went Illawarra.
No. It's not a Cairns
okay.
Taipan player. It is Sunday Detch.
Okay.
And I don't think you would have expected me saying this, but
No.
Sunday Detch, like, let's disregard the 1 of 7 shooting against Illawarra and only the 3 points.
Yes.
But 27.5 minutes played,
Yeah.
4 rebounds, 3 assists, but 4 steals, and just if you take out, you know, every single missed shot that those guys that he was guarding, mainly Trey Kell, Taylor Harvey, you know, in those death situations, but also just throughout the game, like, he had an incredible defensive game, and I just wanted to shout him out. You know, you can't really see it on a stat sheet per se, but if you go back and watch it, he played a really big game for Adelaide.
He's definitely revived his career. Like, last year I thought, is this the end of Sunday Ditch? Like, not the end, but like, has he gone past his prime? Like,
Yeah. And talking to people while I was in Perth, he has a great relationship with Mike Wells, the head coach of Adelaide, and he trusts him, and I expect him to be a starter for the entire season, at least for now.
Yeah.
Just because of, like, who knows what's going to happen with imports and whether or not
Well, it's
people
Adelaide.
go. Yeah.
We're talking about Adelaide.
Yeah,
here.
True. So, touch wood on the imports, but yeah, I expect him to start for the entire season, and if he can get at that offensive production to go a bit more, he'll have a massive season for him.
100%. He's always been known as like a top 5, top 10 defender in the NBL for sure. He's never. I don't think he's won Defensive Player of the Year award.
He's been nominated a couple times. I want to say 2 seasons.
The NBL Cup year with
maybe.
I think he was nominated when Justin Simon won it in Illawarra. And it was Norton Sunday and Simon.
He's more than capable of.
Well, he is a Cotton stopper. He's kept Cotton scoreless for the first half.
Yeah, he's a Cotton stopper in previous years. After doing when he was a DP there, it was learning
some apprenticeship.
But
Wani as well.
we all had similar kind of likes this week and last week. Last week is Illawarra. Now it's Cairns. See, we like to talk about the smaller teams, unlike NBL media who talk about Melbourne. We try and talk about the Cairns and Illawarra that don't get enough media attention.
Brisbane as well, but for
do
no
they
reasons.
need the media attention? No, Cairns have been looking good at the moment, and 3 in a row.
They've proven something else wrong with that tips, but
100%. They've proven everyone wrong.
Pedro had a better game too. Like, I must admit, Pedro, like, seeing him in person on Sunday.
You just know they've got to beat Melbourne.
He looked like, I don't know if you noticed, Evan, but I thought he looked a lot better in terms of knew how to space for. Maybe didn't shoot well, but he was so much better defensively.
Dislikes.
Offside, Dingadale, 0 points, 3 rebounds, 3 turnovers in 15 minutes. Like, he went from being the most hyped player going in
preseason. Again.
I didn't hype him up, and you both knew that I was still hanging on it.
Yeah.
And
regular season.
0 points. If he had another quiet game, he might average less than he did in the world. It's getting to that point where I don't. Look, he only had 5 shots, yes, but if Justin Schuler's playing 15 minutes, he's lost trust in him. Like Justin Schuler won't be afraid to not play. Like, you've seen it with Bateman, you've seen it with Cook, you've seen it with Bannon last week. Like, if you're not up for it, he's not gonna play. And
it's crazy to think he was an NBA player 5 years ago. Like
he was fringe full. He was
a decent college player. I think he was on a 2-way with the Cavs. Played some NBA minutes.
And look, he looked good in preseason. I will say that he did. He looked good, but
and especially when he was even in preseason for Illawarra, he was unreal. I thought, he's got to be one of the best.
He dropped like 25 points against Perth.
He's going to be one of the best locals in the league. Then
you know what?
Sacked halfway through the year, and
for Tim Conrad.
Yeah,
came out of retirement.
Yeah,
Conrad was
that's.
It was against Gorge too. Who Gorge? I wouldn't say cut him, but he kind of did. At the lower game, like when he was at lower, and like, I thought you'd be circling that game, first game against Gorge, and be like, "This is a game.
Yeah,
I want to prove you wrong. I want to show you
100%
what I could have done in Aurora." And Pardon my French, but he shut the bed.
Fair enough. No,
Sorry, guys, but
no,
yes.
I agree. Well, you even look at his stats in between his last in Illawarra and now. He played in Bulgaria.
He played in Canada.
He played in Bulgaria and he
French
averaged
Div
5
3,
points in like 10 games of Bulgaria.
He was Div 2 France.
Yeah.
South Africa.
Somewhere else? Yeah.
I don't know, but he was. Look, I questioned. We all questioned something at the time, but it was more. What was Dan NBL doing? Like Sam McDaniel's out now, so they need someone to step up, and Dan NBL is. Well, used to be similar to what Sam McDaniel is now. He's
Any
defender,
former NBA local should be able to produce well in this league.
I hope for Brisbane's sake he's not on a lot of money because he's.
Yeah. You'd think he's a cheapie.
Well, I would think he's a cheapie, but you never know.
You know,
Anyway, that's my dislike on.
Jackson?
My dislike is something that you probably aren't expecting. My dislike is not the Perth Wildcats, but I'm sure we'll talk about it. My dislike is these NBA, NBL games.
Oh, no, I've said the same thing.
Oh, no, okay.
It's alright, no, it's right, we can say the same thing. Go on.
Right, so we are recording this Tuesday.
Right after the Philly game.
The 8th of October, right after the Philly game. And the New Zealand Breakers just lost 139 to 84, which is a 55-point loss.
Uh-huh.
So, and the other game, well, not as
The other
bad.
game was better, in my opinion.
They lost 116 to 87 to Utah.
Yeah.
But, like, what's the point of these games
Yeah.
in the end? It's in the middle of the NBL season. These teams are travelling quite literally across the world and back to be playing these games. Like, New Zealand have already played 2 games. They're 2-0.
That's a good thing for them.
And
they're
they're asterisks on top of the ladder. So...
That's such a bad look for the NBL. If, like, NBA fans say, oh, what is this team? Breakers? How are they doing? Oh, they're the best team in the NBL. How are they lose by 50? That's a horrible look on the league.
You go
horrible
now.
Look.
You go. Keep going.
Yeah, it's you got me going now. No, I just remember NBA games when they first started. They used to be so hype. Like, I know you shouldn't be watching basketball in class, but I remember watching the Melbourne United OKC Thunder game in class and watching Casper Ware just dominate. That was a goaltend at the end, by the way, twice.
Yes.
That should have been a score too, no, but that's another story. But even then, the games were closer. Breakers lost to the Suns back then by 6 points, where Corey Webster went off.
What about
Cotton
Jared Jackson?
40-something against Denver.
And they lost by single digits, I think.
It was either that or like 11 or 12 points.
Yes.
The Kings played the Jazz.
It was a lot close back then. There were more hype, and I don't know if that's just because
We finally won a game.
I don't know if that's just because of the teams that played. Because I hate to say it, but more people. Well, it's obvious, but more people care about Melbourne United, Sydney Kings, Perth Wildcats rather than using the Breakers than last year Cairns Taipans.
Look,
So maybe that's one reason why it's lost its bit of its hype. We're not sending some of the better teams. I know Breakers are on top of the ladder right now, but they're obviously not expected to be
it's in a better, bigger
championship.
market.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand is a big market.
You
but
throw,
in
a
terms
Sydney,
of like,
you throw a Sydney or Melbourne United. I hate to say it, but you throw a Sydney or Melbourne United in there.
Or a Perth.
Yeah, how does that change? Is that a closer matchup? Is that a more hype matchup? Who
the
knows?
return of Adelaide versus people say JP.
But I also think it's with since Adelaide beat Phoenix, you can say that game was still a bit of a fluke. The way they shot the ball was just like
And the thing is,
that's a one.
They played OKC days later and they barely put up a fight.
Yeah, they lost by 40.
Yeah.
So, that game was a bit of a fluke. Let's be honest.
So
but
everyone's saying bring back Craig Randall and get him playing in the NBA. 1 year deal.
That's all. No.
Sorry.
I think because they got that win,
it's
like what's the point now as well?
I think what's going to happen is, and yes, we can say, oh, NBA exposure is great and all, but I mean, look at what the Sydney Kings just did. They signed this agreement with the Chiba Jets, right? And like Perth went over to Japan
and played Chiba Jets, but anyway.
And
play these games that have
but play games internationally or locally that have meaning. Mark Arena said recently in an interview that they're trying to get Japanese teams over on a 2-year agreement where 1 year Perth would go over to Japan, the other year the Japanese teams would come over to Perth.
Yep.
So there has to be...
You got to NBL and B League have that agreement as well.
Exactly.
So, but the other thing is, I think if they are going to continue this, I don't think it's not the NBL that's doing it, it's the Breakers. It's Matt, let's be honest, Matt Walsh just wants to watch the Breakers in his home country, right?
He doesn't want to be travelling New Zealand.
But like,
anyway,
it's like I think the only reasons it should go forward is if I know it's never got to happen. We keep saying it, but you bring an NBA team over here to play a game. I think you expect a closer result. You play FIBA rules. I think there'll be a much more interesting matchup.
Remember when Dallas played Real Madrid? I want to say last year or the year before.
Yeah, last
FIBA
year,
rules
and Real Madrid won.
in Madrid, I think it was, and Madrid won. Like,
and I think people forget last time EuroLeague champs played NBA champs. 2010, Barcelona beat the Lakers, Kobe Lakers of championship in FIBA rules in Spain. So I'm not saying the same will happen with the NBL, obviously, but you come here, FIBA rules, it'll probably be a bit closer of a game.
Well, not even FIBA, NBL has its own rules excluding FIBA. So they did NBL rules.
But it's just like, seeing like a Breakers or Cairns or Illawarra over there, it's just like, what are you getting out of it?
I imagine Michael
oh my god.
It's just less, there's more negatives than positives, really.
No, I agree with that. It's more publicity, but it's not like...
It's not like they say, these guys get to play NBA guys, the next star gets a NBA...
To be fair, he looks good.
Plays NBA opportunity.
He looks good.
Sure, he gets a benefit, but that, like, who cares?
But it's not it's the travel. Like, it's not just
worth it. It's just not worth it. Just play the games here or play it actually in the preseason, move the NBL season forward, and or back, whatever it is, or play some actual good teams.
It's not like we won't have a crowd. Like, if you take the soccer, for example, like they've had Chelsea come down, Manchester United, all these...
Mate, you'll sell out Rod Laver in a
soccer
second.
teams, you would
if it was the Washington Wizards or the Charlotte Hornets, you'd sell out Rod Laver Arena in a second.
Exactly, you would sell. That's what I mean. Like, if you bring it, like, I know it's money, but you can bring. I reckon you can bring an NBA team now. It's probably not
play that Marvel.
Okay.
I reckon you could sell out Marvel if it's like the Lakers, but that's it.
Yeah. Any other dislike throughout the week? You want a quick mention on Perth? Quick 5-second rant?
Yeah, 29-point loss to Melbourne United at home. Come on, guys, seriously. Like, you can't be doing that. 68 points in a game. 68 points and you're allowing 97. Like,
and low scoring in Tassie as well.
Low scoring,
their offense has been horrendous.
Yes, but their defense was much improved than the United game. Webster helps running the point because you look at their bench. Like, I mean, Bryce, you should not be letting him run point. You need to have somebody next to him, ball handling most of the time to take that pressure off him.
Delhi and Shea.
Yeah, and Pepper's not a point guard. He's an off-ball guard. And who else can... I mean, and then you put it into the hands of Doolittle and Hiram Harris, who are great, guys bring the ball up, but they can't exactly run a play. I mean, Harris is a great passer, but, like, he's not 100%. Exactly a point guard.
Look, I know they lost, but they have lost by less. Like, I know, like, yes. I wouldn't be... Like, I thought, maybe going in, they'd lose, but not, like, that much. Like, I thought maybe 10, 15...
Embarrassing. Really
that looked like when I looked at the score, I was like, oh jeez.
I turned it off at 3/4 time. I had enough. I also turned off other games this round at 3/4 time, and then like the Brisbane-Sydney game, then it turned into 9 points at the end.
Yeah, but that's what I said. Sydney can't close games. That's what. No, but I don't want to hop on
that. Other news in the week: a few fines. Magne was fined for trying to choke. Who was it? Who was he trying to choke? Cairns player? Was it?
Robert Edwards?
It was Tassie that played Cairns. Who was it?
Was it Tassie?
Cairns.
Robbie Edwards.
He tried to choke.
One of them. Edwards. I don't know. One of them. I'm sure.
I think it was Edwards. We should know this. We should know this.
I wasn't watching. You guys.
He did get a fine for it. I think it was one game and he accepted an early guilty plea of about $1,000.
Yeah, the whole one game thing is never a thing in the NBA. It's just a
the thing is, they didn't call a technical on him.
Yeah.
It was Rob Edwards. Yeah, they didn't call a technical on him at the time. They gave a tech to unsportsmanlike. No, technical fouls to Edwards and Crawford, but nothing to Magne when he grabbed Edwards by the choke.
The NBL has a history of this, of not calling fouls, then retrospectively going back and charging people. I mean, look at Jesse Wagstaff 2 years ago with that screen on Barker. Right? Nothing was called then, and then he got, a 2-game suspension, and then it was wiped.
Look, I love Lockie, but I don't think that was a suspension worth. But anyway.
And then Harold.
Before we continue, the choke. Do you reckon Adam Ford had a flashback of Aaron Baines or like?
Jesus, man. I thought we moved on for that.
Nah, I had to bring it up. Sorry,
Harold. He kind of shoved the ref, but they didn't call him. I don't think they called a tech on him, or did they? No, they did.
No, they did. No, I think they might.
Yeah, because in the scuffle between him.
But it was like a double tech, so it wasn't. really.
Yeah, and
there.
he tried to shove Vodanovic and the ref got in the way. Fans were complaining about that. Should have been a fine or something to Harold.
But I
But
think the rule is like, I feel like this was last year or the year before. But if you touch a ref at all, it's
yeah,
a fine.
Yeah.
but he's not trying to. He's just
No,
like in
but,
the middle.
but
I don't know.
regardless of it's accidental or on purpose, it's not.
Maybe should have been looked at. Who knows?
Like he's already been in trouble with the referees. Like surely a slap on the wrist with a fine would be anyway.
Yeah, a fine. Who cares? Is what it is.
He's
And
doing eyes with NBL with his name. That's all
Yeah.
I care about.
and the other one was did Steindl do the moonwalk? Steindl on the inbound
Oh,
play
God.
against Perth.
Yeah.
A metre is now 5 metres now, is it?
Don't talk,
Don't talk about measurements
it.
in sport.
You don't know about FIBA Rule 17.3.1?
Felix, you need to know better. You got to know that rule, mate.
Oh, I feel
I don't know the rules of basketball anymore. I give up. I give up.
Look,
I
also,
thought he did. I think that looks pretty illegal to me, but well.
What don't
Well,
forget,
that's
it's
going far.
NBL is FIBA official, but it's not. It is rules that the NBL have that FIBA don't have. I don't know. It's
I
It-
honestly
the
don't have an
enti-
opinion on it. It's just too confusing.
can
Yeah.
Scott Ball just come out and say something just so that we can all?
I will say,
I think they
like,
did. They
Okay.
said you can move, but like
I will
looks
say,
like
We
if,
thought you could move
if
around
like,
the baseline.
to the Perth fans that are blaming that on the loss, like, come on.
Nah.
You lost the game when you were only scoring 68 points in regulation.
yeah.
Well, so as
I think it was 68.
It was
Yeah.
54 at like halfway through
Yeah.
the fourth at one point.
It was Tassie had 9 points at halftime. Perth only had like 19 or something.
Yeah,
Not
that's
halftime, quarter time.
You
Yeah.
can only blame the refs if it was. A
I don't know.
call.
Maybe we should touch up on our FIBA rules next time. We should have the whole rule.
You know what?
book.
Can
Was
we
it a
actually
schedule?
get the rule book here?
Probably.
I think I've
You'd
the
probably
rule. I
print
think
it
I've
out.
got the FIBA rule. Yeah.
I watch a secret base series.
Actually, no, it's
Yeah, and they have
Yeah,
it,
and they have all the rule
That's what we
books.
should do. Just
Yeah.
have it on display. Actually, that could be my next eBay find. The FIBA rule book,
Yeah.
$25.
Won't be $25.
Rule 17.31 is highlighted. Hot or not? Here we go. I'll go first, if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Is My State Bank Arena the toughest venue to play in? I say, mate, it is. I say it's the toughest. Is that hot or not?
No, I'm not a fan of that. I think for the. I know.
You still think RSC, or-
Yeah, I still think RSC is like. Apart from the big jumbotron at
Hoops Fest.
I don't think it's.
I was
more
gonna say Gatorade, but Hoops Fest, yes.
I just think it's more condensed, and
You know
just
what?
like
I've
loud
heard the,
environment.
I've heard the Hawks. It's a really toxic environment. It's like
If
you're.
if the Win Entertainment Centre is packed, I reckon that's it. But
I'm not gonna say Teddy. I'm not a fan.
I think RAC has kind of lost its touch. Like,
Is that
no,
because
and I'm
punches
just
everyone,
saying
or-
this because like, crowds are so far back,
yeah,
and like when
That's what it
when
seems
it's
like,
not
yeah.
when it's not packed out,
yep.
like it's not great. I mean, it's not as far back as the Hoops was to the stands at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. There was soccer
Yeah, I know.
field in
Yeah,
between
I know,
there.
I know.
Like I was looking at it, it's like that can't be.
I didn't see the game, so I
But
don't
like,
know.
if you have like a small arena, like Challenge or
Yeah,
My
yeah,
State
yeah.
Bank or Win Entertainment Centre, where the crowd is like right on top
Yeah.
of you, that is hostile if
Yeah.
it's packed
So,
out.
do you agree? Hot or not? Is it a hot take?
Hot.
I'm gonna go because I need to experience it before I go.
Do you think? I say it's the toughest venue to
Yeah,
play
it
right
is the
now.
toughest.
So
venue.
not.
No.
You say hot. Okay, fair enough.
Let's all go totally and experience it for ourselves. A bit too early.
Oh,
my
sorry,
friend.
a bit too early on your passport watch, but hot or not?
Galloway will start with growth by round 7 for the rest of the season. Like, I think by the rest of the season, current Galloway will be starting over growth by round 7. The latest.
No, I think he'll start now.
Start now.
Yeah. Not.
Is it mid?
Oh.
Or is it mid? We do have a mid round.
We need to change graphic.
Or is it?
I don't think it's hot.
No.
If I said it last week, it would have been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. My hot or not. Cairns play Perth on Thursday night. Then they play Sydney on Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
Right? Cairns will, asterisk, be top of the ladder by the end of the round.
Hot.
So you're going to win
That is
both.
hot. That's
Yeah.
hot.
So
Flaming hot.
So they'll be second, but only because New Zealand hasn't come back yet and
Where are
lost
they
a
now?
game. They are 4th or 5th. There's like
Tied, pretty much.
yeah.
Have they lost a game?
They lost to
Illawarra. They got killed by the
Illawarra
last
in
round.
Hoops Fest. Yeah.
That's right.
So-
Sorry, I completely that up.
Yeah, I'm saying that's hot. Perth and Sydney, and they got to travel to Sydney 2 days later, 3 days later.
So I'm saying technically they'll be top just because New Zealand haven't played, but they'll be second by the end of the round.
So you say it'll be 5-1.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a hot. I don't think they'll win both.
I'm going to go middle because Pickett's not playing
If
against...
they beat Sydney in Sydney, and if they win those 2 games...
Adam Ford will get his men up for a game in Sydney.
So you're saying...
That history there.
That is still hot, though.
Look, I'm going to say that they'll definitely beat Perth.
I think they got a good chance of beating Perth. Sydney,
I'm going to go... Yeah, I'll go on.
Yeah.
Not
AiDan,
bad.
let's hear it.
Well, he was lucky not to be on my dislikes, but... It's not a player. Jackson, it's not a player. It's
Oh.
Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly's on his passport watch. He is an American citizen.
Wait, is he not naturalised?
Don't think he is.
I think he is naturalised.
I could be,
Right.
well, he might want to go back home. He's
Your
Jason's
statement could be wrong.
well, regardless, he does go home back to America in the off-season, so...
Australian American, so he has citizenship.
Oh, you're touchy
It's
on it. You're getting touchy on this segment. Especially
So
the
what-
coach as well.
So are you saying he gets deported?
No, I'm saying he needs to get his passport to go back home and stay back in America. No,
his citizenship should get revoked.
I'm not saying that. No. That's all I'm saying. Do not put words in my mouth like that. No, but I think if they go 0-5 against Brisbane, he'll be sacked. He'll be on the plane back home to go see his family and feed his
Yeah, he's on the he's if they lose to Brisbane here, they could
Look,
be in
Look,
strife.
I know they're paying attention down, but I think because it's top 6, I think anyone can realistically still make top 6 be 0-4. Like it's not like the top 4. If it's the top 4, then I'll say they're done. But because it's the top 6, they can still realistically make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And look, I don't really agree with Pete Huffstein, but Pete is right though. They shouldn't have played one proper preseason game. They should have played at least 2 out of 3 as a proper game as reasons. But look, they've got some team issues. Walton might need to come on to be Sobe as well. Like I feel like Wieskamp actually is escaping. I think he's been playing well.
Yeah.
For his output for the team, like he blocks shots, he gets in the passing lanes,
Rebounding
he
as well.
rebounds. Like
Very good.
He's not like the role he is what Ryan Brokoff was meant to be doing, but he's a bit more athletic than Rowdy.
Yeah.
I was legit talking to somebody the other day, and he said Brokoff and Wieskamp are the exact same player.
Is that Nick?
No.
Okay. Well, we can argue between us. He's like Rowdy, but bigger, like as in can rebound most ball.
Yeah.
Jackson, no comment. Your video.
It was such a big coup getting Taco for this tour. It's obviously such a shame we won't see him out on the court. How does that impact potentially bringing him onto the NBL for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, mostly I feel for Taco, right? Like, he signed with us with the anticipation that he was going to get to expose himself to these NBA teams, and everyone knows how good a player Taco is. The thing that's stuck with me is he's even a better person. Like, everywhere you go, people want photos, and he's willing to, like, miss a flight to take photos with fans. So I feel for him. In terms of the future with Taco, like, we would love for him to be a part of the Breakers at some point in the future. We're also, I think there was some speculation. We're very happy with Freddie. He's the best professional. He's also an incredible guy. And it's kind of like we have this opportunity now to have 2 really great guys with us. Obviously, Taco can't play, and we're going to work with his agent to see what it could mean, next season or in the future. And that's all a work in progress. But just to have him around the team and to get to know him, for him to see who we are, I think that's the important part for us. Build a relationship for the future. For now, he can't play, and you never really know what the future holds. But awesome guy, good player, and I feel for him that he can't get out on the court.
So it's Matt Walsh before their game against Philly talking about how Taco Fall, the star player that they've signed for these games, isn't actually going to play in these games.
Yeah.
Right? So they signed him on basically a 3-game deal against these NBA teams.
Yep.
Was ruled out of the first game, and then before Philly, been ruled out of all of them.
Nice.
The funny thing is that, and I showed this to you boys the other day, the NBL store is selling Taco Fall New Zealand Breakers jerseys.
Flames are coming down.
Right? I'm not even making these up. And the funny thing is that has there ever been a jersey sold of somebody, and I'm not talking about a guy who was on a team and then left and then they've just sold his jersey for the next season even though he's not even there anymore.
E.g. Mitch Creek is your...
Jack McVeigh as well for this year.
Cleveland,
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
100%.
those teams. But has there ever been a player that a jersey has
Definitely
been
not.
sold that has never actually played for that team?
Definitely not.
Look, I don't want to say...
Definitely not.
Oh no, but Corey Webster eventually did play for Perth, but
No,
besides that.
not that. He might have been on the website. I might have seen it once, but it might have been your man, but I'm not going to say his name. But it might have been your man. He might have been on the website at one point. Who knows? But
I
don't
agree.
think-
Yeah, 3 to to have this. So I just put up the Instagram post of them signing Taco for 68,000 likes.
How many shares?
And 24.4k shares. This is the Instagram
Yeah.
post
This is Instagram.
of him signing. He doesn't play. It's a publicity stunt.
I told you that from the day one. I said this is the biggest PR stunt I've
I
ever
knew he
seen.
was not going to even play in the NBL this season
I mean,
anyway.
what's a bigger PR stunt? New Zealand signing Taco or Sydney signing Santa?
This is also. I know. This is why I hate the NBL NBA thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just a whole lot of baloney.
Well,
Just-
I
it's
feel
just
like you
a
don't
gimmick,
announce
and I
things like
just
that.
don't-
Like, I know you get PR stunt. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what's
But-
going to happen next? Is an NBL team going to sign J. Cole or something playing these NBA games?
J. Cole.
It's just-
No. It's going to be, what's his face? The John T. Potter, whatever his name is. The guy that got gambling.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Porter or something?
John
J.
J. Porter.
Porter.
Michael Porter's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to...
It's just got to be. Yeah, it's just a whole gimmick. I just hate it, and I'm sick of the NBA. After this weekend of NBL NBA action, just get rid of it.
Anyone from the
I'm
NBL
sick
store
of it.
listening, can you tell us how many Taco football jerseys?
I will say, who did they play? They play OKC in their last game.
Yeah.
Watch them go and beat OKC
If they-
now that
they
we've
won't.
settled
They
this
won't.
stuff.
Absolutely no. Absolutely
What,
not.
Alex
They won't.
Lucas is going to show
No
up and
way.
drop 20 points? I don't think so.
No. So, my find of the week. This week, I think I showed you guys last week, but for the audio listeners out there, it is a Tasmania Jack Jumpers clappers. Like, you know those clappers that they've thrown at certain players in finals? Yeah, those things.
Thrown. It wasn't even fun. It was during a regular season game against the Phoenix.
Melbourne United use them, Phoenix use them. I think a lot of NBL teams use them. But someone's put up 4 of these Jack Jumper clappers up here for $55. $55 and free delivery at least. But
Well,
let me tell you something. These are free.
Yeah,
You get these when you walk in, and someone's trying to $55, not even 10 each. That's more than $10 each for a clapper. That's free. Ridiculous.
Well, 49.46
with a coupon code.
with a coupon code. Yeah,
Jesus.
that's
If you look at the
ridiculous.
seller, the Pukerage family,
Yeah,
it's the whole family for it have gone off Tassie and just
Yeah, they just got family clappers and then think, oh yeah, someone's going to buy this for $55. No, just go to a Jack Jumpers.
well, you
game
know what?
and-
We can't tell if the other side is broken or not. So
Yeah, they could be just.
it could be just one sided. I can't tell that. I would hope that.
But that's my find of the week.
That's a great find of the week.
I will say, probably nobody will be buying that, unlike other weeks.
And it says condition used. Nice.
yeah, $55.
Yeah, because you got it at a game.
Can we? Well, for those last week, we want to revisit. We want to buy that little pop up.
The Will McDowell White
Yeah,
double cutout.
After his EuroLeague performance, maybe.
Yeah, led scoring for Alba Berlin.
Finally, let's finish off with our tips here for round 4. Round 4 already. Cairns, Perth.
Cairns.
We know.
I got to stick with my.
Cairns. I'm going Cairns.
I'm going to go Cairns with the pin injury news.
With the injury news. Adelaide, Sydney. In Adelaide.
They've already played each other once, haven't they?
Yeah,
I'm going to go Sydney again.
Sydney.
Adelaide.
Really? Over Sydney.
That's your opposite for the week, is it?
Adelaide played really well against Sydney and Perth, and I reckon they beat them now.
Alright. Illawarra, Tassie. That'll be a good game. I'm going to go to Hawks.
I think the Hawks are going to want to bounce back against.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Derek Stays dropping 20.
Game of the round here, South East Melbourne, Brisbane.
8 o'clock at John Cage. Jeez.
No, but genuinely, this is the
Yeah.
game of the round. This is the game everybody's going to be watching
Coaches-
just to see who loses.
People's jobs are on the line.
Well, you know what? It's a battle of Dean Vickerman's assistants. So I'm going to go.
I am going to go Phoenix.
I'm going to go Brisbane. There could be reverse psychology here, but I'm going to go Brisbane.
The battle of mid right here.
Worse than mid, mate.
I'm going Southeast Melbourne just purely because they have an offense and Brisbane doesn't.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but I'm going to go Brisbane
Yeah.
because it's Phoenix. But anyway,
Sydney, Cairns. You got to go Cairns.
Yep.
I'm going Sydney.
I'll go Sydney.
And Melbourne, Adelaide. Melbourne should win that one.
Melbourne, yeah.
I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to go LA. This is my
Really?
upset. I think.
You boys love Adelaide. so
I think.
what's changed?
I think Montrose is the difference. He's going to ball out in front of that Melbourne crowd and shut their mouths up. Like,
Oh, he's got to be so.
That
energetic.
is no, he's going to get thrown out.
well, that depends who's referee. If Chris Reed
Inciting
or Michael
Jordan Usher before he came to Perth, he said in one of his first interviews he got a tech foul for inciting a crowd in Europe,
Yeah.
and not starting a riot, but like,
Well,
basically doing
I
that.
don't think Melbourne United fans are going to be starting any riots anytime soon.
Look.
but
I think Adelaide's not depth, but I think their bigs are going to be better than United's bigs. Like, when you realistically think about it, Bob Lowe didn't have a great game against Cairns. Marcus Lee will still get above the dream like he always does. But I feel like, well, he's playing Humphreys. I think it's going to be LA's. Yeah, I think Getch can shut down Golding. You got Dillian Illy, who
Jack White can hold his own against Harrell if they're playing the two bigs as well.
Illy can shut down Kendrick Davis.
Yeah.
They win.
See what happens. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode.
Which you obviously.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed if you have listened to it, it's all good, and you've gotten through this. Thank you very much. We'll see if we're back in the studio again soon. We'll see. Who knows? If we're not, we're on the Zoom call, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, man.